So I am out in the Palangeau Park on what is a pretty hot day, and we're trying to decide what I wanted to really accomplish this week. And one of the things that like every week when I'm doing these, and it's like a project to do, I realize I never just sort of sit out here. I've got this great park, this great garden, and I never really sit down to enjoy it. So what I decided for today that I was going to do that a little bit. It is hot, so I'm sitting a little bit further back in the park where there's a lot more shade, so I don't have to deal with the hot sun that is behind me. Now, one of the other motivations is that, I really, if you're doing something different this week, is that I really, it was a lot of work last week, as you recall. If you saw last week's video, and I had big problems with that new tool that I bought that was, supposed to be very easy to, I guess, put together and use for different purposes to me to, cut all this stuff around me. Well, as you know, I had a lot of problems putting that together. And of course, many of you got a good laugh out of it. I had some really great comments from people that kind of made me laugh because they were laughing at, just my inadequate ways of trying to put together a tool that was supposed to make my life easier. Nevertheless, when Monday came around last week and I attempted to find the missing bolt that I needed in order to make that thing work, remember, because it got a little bit lost when I was cutting some stuff down over here. Well, I called parts department after I think I had to wait in line on the phone for 20 minutes. And the guy didn't really know what device I was talking about. The guy, by the way, had answered the phone as, "Parts, can I help you?" No, this is the company, blah, 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 whatever. Just "Parts, can I help you?" That's not a good sign. And by the way, it wasn't Home Depot, it wasn't Ryobi, it was Parts. Anyway, the guy could not find the part. He said, "It's not available." We're talking about a little teeny tiny nut. Well, that was a clear indication to me that really what needed to happen was I needed to get rid of it. And so on Monday, Frank and I went over to the Home Depot, and it was not an issue. I mean, it took a little time to kind of put it all back together into the box. But we took it back to Home Depot, no questions asked, and got our money back. So, sometimes when those things don't work out, it's better. Because, then you learn that that's not a good piece. Maybe that company's not good. Home Depot, I don't have any problems with. But the Ryobi, I don't know. Anyway. So, as I was trying to, determine what I wanted to do this week, and also trying to, decide, oh man, it's, so hot. I don't really want to do any work outside. I really just want to relax out here. So I was kind of walking around in the park, and a couple songs kind of popped into my head. And I thought, that's what I should do. And many of you who follow everything that I do know that I write about movies, and I write about music, and I write about television, and I create these wonderful little videos. But then I thought, what I should do is I should do a discussion of some kind surrounding music in parks. In other words, songs about parks. So that's what I decided to do. So I decided, first of all, I would have to do a little bit of a Google search, because there were a few that I remembered right off the bat, and then there were others I was like, what else is there? And as I'm looking at this list and realizing, okay, I don't know most of these songs. There are a few that totally stand out here. But, I don't know. There's some I'm intrigued by. Gary Newman's Down in the Park. You got one by Van Halen. You got one by Wings, Blur. But I don't necessarily know a lot of these songs enough to say, oh, these are my favorite songs about parks. So as I listen to some of these, like Down in the Park by Gary Newman and Van Halen's song, Sunday Afternoon in the Park, they're kind of downbeat songs. I mean, they're not necessarily like happy park-like songs. And then like Wings have this version of Walking in the Park with Eloise, and it appears to be mostly instrumental. So next up I decided, okay, I'm gonna like do a little search of songs about yards. And this was pretty incredible because there are only 7 songs listed. Really? Only 7? So then I went to songs about gardens, and whoa, there's a whole article here on a site called Hub Pages that lists 50 songs about gardens. So I am positive that I can find something from this list. And I'm just going to expand my idea a bit to include maybe gardens. So after looking at songs about parks, looking at songs about gardens, and it was hard finding some choices of things that I really liked. Because what I decided to do is I put together a top 10. Because this is one of the other things I do. Coming into the year, we do our annual top 10, excuse me, and songs of the year and albums of the year. But I thought, well, I've never done a top 10 of songs about parks, or songs about parks and gardens, or songs that have the feel of like parks, gardens, being outside, something related to all that. So I decided to come up with a list. So this is what I've created. I've created a list of my top 10 favorite songs about parks and gardens. Are you ready? Because now this is gonna play out a little bit differently than usual, because I got videos and I can't really like incorporate those into these videos because, well, I don't have the rights to do that, and it just wouldn't work basically. So I will hopefully play these out individually. So if you're ready, because I want to hear from you again next week. I want to hear your favorite songs. They don't have to be mine, but I want to hear your favorite songs about parks and gardens. Okay, ready? Coming in at number 10 is a song called Another Sunny Day by Belle and Sebastian. Now, this is one of my favorite groups. They've been one of my favorite groups for a long time. And I kind of forgot about this song, but it was on one of my favorite albums of theirs called The Life Pursuit. And what wasn't my favorite song on the album, when I listened to it again today, I thought, hey, this is really a good song. And, it really kind of expresses a lot about, well, what happens on a beautiful sunny day, as I'm sitting here and now the sun has gone beyond the clouds. But anyway, Another Sunny Day by Belle and Sebastian. Coming in at number 9, I had to include this one, Octopus's Garden by the Beatles. Now, technically, is it a garden? Are there actually octopus's gardens? I mean, I suppose there are, but it's a fun song, and it's got the word garden in the title, so therefore it works. Octopus's Garden, number 8. This is a classic. I mean, of course, as soon as I probably said, oh, I'm going to do something about, parks and gardens, you probably thought of this song. And those of you of a certain age, I can't assume everybody knows the same things. Garden Party by Ricky Nelson. This was a huge hit for I wasn't so young at the time, Ricky Nelson. But it just kind of says a lot about, garden parties and having a garden party and the various things that kind of come up at the party. So that is my number 8. Number 7. This one was a song, I think my mother really liked it. And I always liked it too. I thought it had kind of a great beat. It moved well. And it had an interesting title. I mean, the actual title of the song is I Beg Your Pardon, I Never Promised You a Rose Garden by Lynn Anderson. This comes from 1970. And it, it just was kind of an interesting song. I think it was also based on a book, the title, I believe. And then years later, there was this group called Can that released a song called I Beg Your Pardon, which borrowed the melody of the song into their late 80s song. Anyway, I Beg Your Pardon. I Never Promised You a Rose Garden by Len Anderson. Okay, number 6 isn't technically about a garden or a park. However, because as you know, in our Palangeau Park, there's a lot of trees, lots of trees. Carly Simon had an album out, I believe it was 1978, called Boys in the Trees. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, Carly Simon album. And the title cut from that is really kind of all about her singing about the quote-unquote boys that have been in the trees, or her trees, however you want to interpret that. But I've always really loved the song. I love her voice. I love some of the ideas it expresses. But yeah, number 6, Boys in the Trees by Carly Simon. Number 5, again, this isn't technically a song about a park or a garden, but it definitely calls to mind what it's like to be outside on a beautiful day and enjoying nature and the wind. And that is a song from the 1960s called Grazing in the Grass by Friends of Distinction. How many of you can name other songs by them? Anyway, it's just a great song. It's got great brass throughout it. It moves. It just has it feels like the summer in so many ways. Number 4. This is a song that I used years ago when I did these garden videos with our dog Dylan. And I would use this as the theme song.
Every Tuesday and every other Friday or so, she says, meet me in the garden, boy.
All right, here we are today in Dan's garden at the peak of the summer. And it is a song called Meet Me in the Garden by Dent May. And it wasn't a song I was familiar with. I don't know where I had originally heard it, but I really liked it. And it became kind of this fun little ditty that I thought worked well with the tone of those particular shorts. And so this is kind of a return to that song, Meet Me in the Garden by Dent May. All right, number 3. This is one of my favorite songs by the Doobie Brothers. It's called Another Park, Another Sunday. And this song was kind of a minor hit from them in the early to mid 70s. And, apparently they didn't think it was like big enough to even be put on their Best of the Doobies album, which came out a few years later. But I've always really liked it. There's something kind of like almost, I don't know, sort of sad and melancholy about it. I mean, just the tone of it. But I just have always thought it was just a great song. And the Doobies sound great on it. So it's Another Park, Another Sunday by the Doobie Brothers. Coming in at number 2. How could I leave this one out? MacArthur Park by Donna Summer. Not the original by Roger Whittaker. I'm talking about the disco version by Donna Summer. Let's face it, it was a classic. The song made absolutely no sense. I mean, someone left the cake out in the rain. I mean, when does that ever happen? I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, it doesn't happen. But maybe it did happen. Nevertheless, she created a really memorable version of the song. It starts out very slow, then it turns into this, very, disco high-powered song. And it's just, it's got a lot of energy. Her voice is great on it. And, MacArthur Park by Donna Summer. And number 1, I think that, again, if you're of a certain age, this might be the quintessential song about parks. And certainly in the Chicago area, you have to consider it to be, because it's by the group Chicago. Specifically, it's the song Saturday in the Park. This has always been one of the great songs about just chilling, enjoying a Saturday in the park, and just feeling the energy. It felt like the 4th of July. I mean, come on. It's just a great song. It's well produced. It just sounds so good and very refreshing whenever you hear it. So, yeah, I would say, and this is the song I thought of first when I came up with this idea, Saturday in the Park by Chicago. It's hard to be down when you hear that song. So a couple of the other songs that almost made the list, but, didn't for various reasons. There's a great song called Secret Garden by Quincy Jones, which features Barry White on vocals. And that was a big favorite of my husband Frank's. I never really listened to it as much, but it is a really beautiful song. And related to that is the song Secret Garden by Bruce Springsteen, which is also a really cool, laid-back song. Didn't listen to it a lot. It's on one of his greatest hits albums, but it's a good song nonetheless. And then I also thought about the song Empty Garden, Hey Hey Johnny by Elton John. But that song isn't really about a garden. It was actually a song that was written after John Lennon died, and John Lennon and Elton John were good friends. So it's really kind of a sad song, about him. And, I listened to parts of it today, and I was like, this is not a garden song. I can't really put this on my list, even though it's a good song. And as I also mentioned, there's songs out there by Blur and Van Halen and Gary Newman, but I didn't really know those songs well, and I just decided I'd leave them off because I wanted things that I really were already songs that I liked. So that's it. So those are my top 10 songs about gardens and parks and trees and grass, I guess. I want to hear from you. I want you to tell me, what are your favorite songs? And it could be ones that I've already mentioned. What are your favorite songs about parks or gardens? Leave them in the comments. Because you know what? Maybe I totally forgot something or maybe something I should be listening to. So when I create an extended playlist, maybe I'll include that in there. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this list and you enjoyed my nice day in the Palangeau Park. It may not be Saturday, but it's a nice day to be in the park. See you soon.